So what I'm doing now is preparing you to do exercise 3B question 7 when you come to look at the questions in the book. And this question is on something that they call transformations of the growth graph. Transformations of the growth graph. I just want to show you an example because it's slightly strange and it doesn't follow the same sort of logic as the rest of the chapter does. So when you come to do exercise 3B in question 7, you'll see questions that look like this. If log to the base 10y equals 0.5 plus 0.7x, express y in terms of x. So if we can write that question down, that's the sort of question you'll get in the textbook. If log of y equals 0.5 plus 0.7x, express y in terms of x. So they don't want log of y equals something, they want y equals something. In words, can you describe what have you got to do to log of y to get to y? It's not divide by. The opposite of taking logs, to get rid of the logs, well, I just simply call it anti-logging. And that's what you need to do. You need to anti-log, or you might want to think of it as inverse logging. And basically it's the log button on your calculator, but you press shift first, sort of thing. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to anti-log both sides. And if I anti-log something, so I'm going to anti-log this over here. If I anti-log log y, what am I going to get? Whole point of doing it, if I anti-log log y, what do you think I'm going to get? Not quite, just y. Yeah, okay. If I anti-log that, I just get that. Okay? Basically, if you anti-log log of something, you just get rid of the log.
Oh, right, so you anti-log and then put log in first.
Yeah, if it's already log of something, and you're anti-logging, you just get rid of the word log, effectively. What you said is going to be exactly right over here, Tabby. If I'm anti-logging this over here, you really need to pay attention there, please. If I'm anti-logging this right-hand side, whatever number this is here, this side is the power on that number. Okay, so I have anti-logged this to get this. Anti-logging means if it's log of something, the log disappears, and if it's just not log of anything, if it's just some sort of mathematical expression, it's this number here to that power. And in your books, if there's no number here, if it just says log, it means log to base 10, and that's where your log button is on your calculator. So, are we all happy that you could get from a line like this to a line like this if you had to do this again? Nobody's saying no, so we go on. Yes, Tabby?
If it's log to the base something else, would you just put in what the base is and to the power?
For example, if that had been a 6 there instead of a 10, this would have been a 6 here instead of a 10. Okay? Right, next thing. Using your laws of indices. I'm just going to write this bit out here again. Using your laws of indices, which you learnt back in year 9, how could you rewrite that? If you were adding powers together up here, how could you rewrite that? What's that the same as? Okay, let's think. What are the laws of indices? If you had a to the x times by a to the y, what is that the same as? Yes. Okay, that's something you did at GCSE. You probably learned that in year 9. So, how could I rewrite this? using that.
10 to the power of 0.5 times 10 to the power of 0.7.
0.7x, yeah. Okay. I could use that law of indices. Basically, I've gone from the right-hand side, something to a power of something plus something, to the left-hand side. Okay. 10 to the 0.5. Well, that's just a number. On your calculator, can you just work out 10 to the power of 0.5? And what is the power of 0.5 the same as? Square root, yeah. And what do you get? What is 10 to the power of 0.5, Alice?
3.12.
Okay, 3.16, okay? So I've just changed that into a number. Now over here I've still got this. Right, there's another law of indices you used at GCSE, probably did in year 9, that will help us here. Can anybody tell me another law of indices that we might be able to use over here? Something you did at GCSE.
10 to the power of 0.7 plus 10 to the power of...
I'm looking for something which ends with a to the power of
Is it brackets?
x, y, because that's what I got here, two things times together. What would the law of indices have been that gave you that?
A to the power of x in brackets and then to the y.
Yes, okay, that's right. That's what you did at GCSE. So, this thing over here, this bit over here, I'm still going to leave that where it is. How can I rewrite this using that? Laura, how can I rewrite that then, using this?
To the, I don't know, power, so no. Could you do no? I don't know.
Okay, can anybody help out? Go on.
Is it 10 to the power of 0.7 brackets to the power of x?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, if you compare what we've got here, we've got the big thing, two things times together, 0.7 and the lesser. And over here, it's the big thing to the first power, in brackets, or to the second power. Laura, are you happy how that matches up? Okay. Laura, what is 10 to the power of 0.7? Can you just work that out on a calculator for me, please? Because it's just a number.
And not, just 5.
Okay?
Not 11. 8.
Okay, I've got 5.01, something like that, okay? And that power of x is still there. And this is still equal to y. That is what they are asking you to do if you see this question in the book later on, an exercise 3b question. They are asking you to go from something with logs in it, where you've got log of y equals something, to just y equals something. And if you go through those steps when you come to question 7, you should be able to get that question right. Okay? There should now be nothing in chapter 3 that you can't do, including the miscellaneous questions. The first exercise in the book could be basically GCSE questions on compound interest and stuff like that. The second exercise in the book, apart from question 7, is basically like the bacteria and the population questions we've had earlier. And the miscellaneous exercise is just slightly more wordy questions, but there's no new teaching that you need to finish the chapter. So that's what I would like you to work on now, is working through chapter 3.